Hello there. Today we're going to talk about creative blocks again, but we're going to talk about some of the most common creative blocks so that you can find the ones that you resonate with and you can work on your creative blocks. So in my book, The Creative Ambush, I talk about some of the most common that are the ones that I encountered both in me, so that I worked on some of these creative blocks and I experienced them again and again, depending on the period. But I also encountered them in friends, colleagues, acquaintances, people that came to my Intuit evenings, so where I give sessions of these products that it's called Intuity, and it's about creative growth. So these are some of the main blocks that you may have, and you can work on them if you recognize them. The first one is when you say, I don't feel creative enough. So one night, one of my former colleagues, she came at my place because I was doing these intuitive sessions, and she told me, I don't feel creative enough. And I was almost giving her a pat on the back. No, I was just I wanted to to be paternalistic. Okay, thank God I stopped myself, and I thought a second, and then I told her, if you don't feel creative enough, it means you are not. Okay, that's harsh, but the thing is, every time we don't feel creative enough, it means that for our standards, for how we feel, we are not feeling creative enough. We are not creative enough in that moment. This is no judgment. It's just a fact. So if I'm writing something and I feel I'm not creative enough, it means it's not good. I need to work more on that. So it's super important not to go into victimism, that's a creative block, but to try to recognize when we feel creative and when we don't feel creative. And it's different for any of us. So when I'm not creative enough, it's a different feeling from somebody else. So this is an exercise that you can do. You can try to remember the last time that you were creative enough for your standards, so how you felt. For me, it's the other morning when I was writing a new book, and I was like in a sort of ecstasy. No? So I was, wow, this is amazing, and I was feeling something, a connection. Okay, for me, that is the feeling that I was creative enough. Then you try to recollect a feeling when you were not creative enough. So maybe you were working on a project and you were like, yeah, I don't give a fuck. Or you were bored, you were trying to write a song and yeah, you weren't really there. Okay, how did you feel? Because it's very important that you can manage to recognize when you feel creative enough and when you don't, so that you don't fool yourself, you don't go into victimism, you just try to say, okay, I'm not creative today. Why? What's happening? Is it the project? Is it me? Should I change environment? Should I do something? It's very important that you work on your blocks. So first thing, try to recognize them. There is a frequently asked question. How can I say if I'm not creative enough? Okay, if you are proud of what you are doing, of what you did, you were creative enough. I mean, when you are creative, you put yourself in what you're doing, so you want to defend it. It's not like if I do something in a haphazardly way, okay, and I don't give a fuck, I'm just doing that, and then somebody comes and say, that's horrible, I'm like, yeah, whatever, okay, that meant that I wasn't creative enough. I'm not supposed to be always. So it's possible for some projects that you say, okay, I'm just gonna do them for money. It's fine. It's okay. Just be responsible for what you do and be conscious about what you do. Okay. Then another big block, I was talking about that in the last video, is complaining. So complaining is not creative at all. Okay. When you are complaining, you are usually try to avoid something. Okay, most of these blocks they are there because we try to avoid the truth about something. But complaining somehow doesn't make any sense because it's not constructive. On the other side, it's a symptom. So if you are complaining too much about something, you may want to have a big look into that. Okay. So an exercise that you can do is to write down a list of things that you have been complaining in the last weeks. So, I don't know, my boss, the Italian bureaucracy, that's in my case, the weather, my house, okay, whatever you were complaining about. And then you write next to that, in a scale from 1 to 10, how much you complained. Because, okay, 2 is nothing, but if you complain like 7, 8, okay. Then just to have to really resonate with what complaining is, you try to imagine, to remember a person that you know that is always complaining with you, okay? And that means that when he or she, they complain, they tell you, my job is not okay, I don't like that, I don't blah, 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 blah. Then when you try to say something, they immediately jump. Oh, no, you don't understand. That's not the problem. The problem is another thing, and they keep complaining. Okay, that leaves you with a feeling of frustration because you cannot do anything. You just have to be a good listener. Yeah, okay, but it's like eating garbage. It's too much. Okay, write down the name of that person, look at that, and then realize that you are the same when you complain. Okay? So that's the thing. When we complain to our friends, our partners, our parents, okay, we are just, we are terrible. Okay? They suffer because of us. It's frustrating for them. So stop doing that. What you can do is to try to realize what is your benefit from staying in that situation. I'm complaining about Italian bureaucracy too much, okay? It's the one scale 1 to 10, 10, okay? To whom? To everybody. Is it constructive? No, not constructive. So why? What is my benefit in staying in this situation and not changing something? You may say, but you cannot change. Of course I can change. I can move abroad, okay? If the complaining is too much, you can do something. Either you accept, because you have a great benefit. For instance, I have a house here, my friends are here, I want to stay here. Okay, then I accept and I quit complaining. Or I move abroad. So it's important that you realize what's your benefit and why are you still in that situation, and you stop complaining, because usually you are trying to avoid to see something deeper that prevents you from being creative. Okay, that's why it's a block. Another block is, I don't know what I want to do. Marvelous. So a lot of times I give sessions of Intuiti, and we are going deeper and deeper and deeper. At some point, the person is telling me that they don't like their job, they want to change, they want to, okay. Say, okay, what would you like to do? And the answer is, I don't know what I want to do. And I'm like, okay. The thing is, I believe them. I'm sure they really don't know what they want to do. So I usually ask them, but uh, what did you want to do when you were younger, when you were a child? They don't remember. Okay. So there is the Soul's Code by Hillman. Okay. And he talks about the acorn. So we all have a seed, okay, of something inside, and you can see it since when you are a child. In my case, I wanted to write since I was little. I wanted to do tarot since I was 7. Okay, and I was going in the backyard of my neighborhood of my neighbor when I was 7, 8, and I was building toys, okay, on my own. So like a seed of a designer. So the fact that today I have a company that is focused on creative tools in the form of deck of cards, and I am a designer and I am a writer, makes sense if you connect the dots. Thing is, if you forgot who you are because you believed too much about what they were telling you, that you need to find a job in a certain way, you need to want this, you need to do that, you have not to want things because that's bad, that's something terrible, no? That is said by so many parents, no? Just stay low, keep a low profile, don't want too many things. Why? Okay, so the child is suppressed, you lose your inner child somehow, and then you don't remember. You don't remember what you want to do. Maybe you just want to, want to be a guide in Amazonia, okay, something wild. So an exercise that you must do is to just write down what you like today, okay? Banal things, easy things. I like to write. I like to go to the gym. Okay. I like to go on an adventure in India. I like to stay with people. I like to talk a different language. Okay. And you try to find some seeds. You try to remember what you lost. Okay. Maybe already when you were a child, you wanted to go abroad. Maybe you wanted to live in a wild country. Okay, so just try to connect some dots if you can find them. But again, it's the question that you have to ask yourselves is, who is this child that we are not allowing ourselves to be? Okay. Then another block is to feel turned off. Terrible. It happened to me several times. I'm sure that it happened to you too. I'm not talking about depression, so it's not like a clinical depression. That's a clinical, that's a condition. I'm talking about the fact that you have a period of time where you feel that you don't have energy. You feel turned off. So you're just watching Netflix. You don't want to do anything. You do things in a repetition just because you have to. Okay, you don't feel alive. Usually that's because you are repressing something, so you are not allowing yourself to see something extremely important. My teacher was always used to say that if you are depressed, you are repressing something. Okay, so you need to realize, what are you repressing? I mean, what are you not allowing yourself to see? Okay, usually it's something painful, because otherwise we would see it with no problems. No? So we are very smart. Our mind is super smart. It avoids us something dangerous, something painful, but in fact we feel like drained. Okay. So in my case, years ago, I was feeling depressed for like 2 months, and I was like, why is that? Why is that? And then I realized I wanted to write another book, but I was afraid that my girlfriend at the time, she would be very pissed off because the book was also about our relationship and things that I didn't like. So basically I felt turned off for months. When I realized that, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna write it. I did that. Basically, we quarreled the first day that I told her, yeah, I'm gonna write that book, because she perceived that. So we already quarreled somehow. Then when I finished, I gave her the book, and I ran out of the house. We quarreled when I came back a lot, but I felt alive. Okay, so try to uh, first of all try to write down all the aspects in your life that drains you from energy, no? Drains you of energy. Then try to see why, and if you manage, try to go beyond. So I mean, what I'm not seeing, what is going on with my life that I don't like, no? My house is burning, but I'm like, yeah, okay, I don't want to watch that, okay, because it's gonna eat you alive, and you don't want to do that. That's a block. I mean, and again, if we repress something, we are not dumb, okay? So we usually do it because it would hurt us to admit the truth. But the price is our energy, okay? So if you want to be creative, you have to go through that. Okay, do that, please. Another block is when you say, I can't think of anything, okay? And it's usually when this happens when I go deeper with people, and then they, at some point, when I'm like, why didn't you, I mean, why didn't you quit your job? Why? I mean, why? And the other person is like, yeah, I've never thought about that. I can't think of anything. And I'm like, okay, but yeah, I'm asking you now, so think about it. I can't think of anything. Okay, that's curious because again, there is no judgment in this. I don't think these people who answer that are dumb. I don't think they are lying. I think they somehow they are omitting so much about themselves that uh, then they can't think of anything. So if you realize that you have this kind of block, start paying more attention to yourself. Okay, you need to be very passionate about yourself because it's you. So why am I still in this shitty job? Oh, I never asked myself this question. Okay, I'm gonna start now. Why am I in this shitty job? And I'm gonna pretend the question for myself. That means that I'm gonna pay attention to myself. I'm gonna ask my friends about it. I'm gonna try to investigate the topic. It's like being Sherlock Holmes of your life. But it's like I wanna be passionate about me. I wanna know if I'm writing a book that I don't wanna write. I wanna know why. What's happening? So be passionate about yourself. Try to go back to moments in your life when you were like, okay, I did that, not this. Why? Try to remember how you felt. Go really deeper, okay? Really be passionate about you. Another one that is terrible, it's crazy. It's when you say, okay, when other people say to yourself, but also when you say to yourself, it's impossible. This is like the king of bullshit, okay, and the king of problems, of creative problems. I want to be a writer. That's impossible. You cannot make out a living, no, make a living out of writing. It's impossible. Just impossible. I wanna be a painter. That's impossible. I wanna open my new company about. It's impossible. Okay. I wanna be a doctor. Very possible. Right. Basically, we have to, okay, there are things that are less certain okay? I mean, if you study to be a doctor, usually you get a job, okay? That's true. So that's very certain. But we need to really be aware of what is possible and what's impossible, because almost nothing is impossible. You can do whatever you want. Of course, there are things that are more improbable, okay? But when I wanted to open my company, a lot of consultants, they told me, very nice people, I have to say, they told me, well, it's impossible that you're gonna manage to do that. I mean, a company that just sells a bunch of creative tools, impossible. That business model is not gonna work. You need to do B2B. You need to have you need to go into companies with your with courses and everything. And I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna do it anyway. Okay, I'm not gonna stop because everybody's saying that it's impossible. I'm gonna try. I tried. It was possible. Then people kept telling me it was impossible, and that's unbelievable. I mean, I went to them saying, okay, look at the numbers. It's working. It's impossible. I was looking for new colleagues, new business partners. And I was like, okay, it's working. Come work with me. No, it's impossible. Then finally I found one who told me, yeah, I believe it's possible and I believe I can do better than you. Love. Okay, wonderful. But that's painful and that's very dangerous. So whenever somebody tells you it's impossible, tell them to fuck off first. And whenever you tell yourself it's impossible, fuck off. Okay, very important. An exercise. Write down something that you want to do, a dream, okay? And if you feel I can't think of anything, go back in the video, okay? If you feel like I don't want to do anything, go back in the video to your inner child and write down a dream to be published by a big American publishing house, okay? For a movie to be made out of one of my novels, okay? Things that I'm like, yeah, it's not gonna happen, okay? Write down whatever you have. Then try to imagine that it's possible. That's not only possible, it's pretty easy to achieve that, okay? And then try to imagine what you will do now that you believe that it's pretty easy to achieve that. For instance, I'm gonna translate my book in English. I'm gonna try to contact big publishing houses in the US. I'm gonna try to contact agents. I'm gonna try to sell it in the US. Okay. So impossible. I did that with the Creative Ambush, and it's going out with a big publisher in September. So it wasn't impossible because I did it. Once you do it, it's not impossible anymore. Okay. So don't stop yourself. Don't limit yourself. Thinking it's impossible, it's like a barricade, a huge one. Don't limit yourself, please. Another one that is very interesting is the wish for failure. Okay. I met several people, usually entrepreneurs. They wish to fail. So they're like, they're doing things in the wrong way, okay? But it's a fact that they're doing in a bad way, okay? In a poor way for the company. And I'm asking them, why are you treating your company like that? Why are you doing that? And they're like, yeah, so you know what? Because at some point, if it fails, look, it's okay. And I'm like, what the fuck? Then usually what happens to those people? They attract, okay? The universe is like, okay, you are giving me a signal, so I'm gonna help you fail, no? And they attract some weird stuff that happens to their projects. They they have the account cancelled, they have a big problem, technological problem, they have a mess. Basically, they are failing, no? Something is helping them to fail. So when it happened also to me, it can be also positive, no? I didn't want to get a job at some point, and I was like, I hope it fails, and then it failed. Thing is, it would have been more mature to call them and say, look, I thought about it and I don't want to do it. Easier without all the failing part. So, very important, if you resonate with this, please be very aware of what you're doing. So, write down why you want your project, your job, your book, your relationship to fail. Okay, also with relationships work. Then, what don't I like about the way I'm living it? And how does it make me feel? Because it's important, because if you don't realize that, then everything goes to shit, and you don't even know why. And maybe you just had to change something in the environment. Maybe your project is okay, but you need to change a colleague. Maybe your company is fine, but you need to move abroad. Maybe your relationship is super fine, you just need to talk. Okay? So please try to work on yourself on this. If you feel that you resonate with this feeling, now that you want to fail, don't work on that. Okay. Another one is I want to, but I don't act. This is one of my favorites. If you have been to LA, I've been to LA for some months. That's terrible over there because it's the city of broken dreams. It's the city of broken people, and basically a lot of people that they say they want to do something, but they don't do something. So it's like, I want to be a writer, and then I don't write. I want to be an actress, and I don't act. I want to be a physician, and I don't study that. That's weird. So it's most important, it's not coherent. So in LA, it's the worst, really, because it's like too many people that they want to be actors, so they want to be filmmakers, and their life is the life of a waiter, the life of a restaurant manager. I'm not judging, no judgment, but the thing is, it's bad. It's bad for them, because if you say that you wanna do something and then you don't do that, that's very painful. One thing is to pay your bills. So I wanna be a writer. I work in a restaurant, and then every moment that I have, I'm writing my novel. Okay, so I pay my bills and I write my novel. I'm living the life of a writer who pays his bills working in a restaurant. I'm not, if I don't write, I'm saying that I want to be a writer, and I'm living the life of a delusional person who works in a restaurant. So that's super important. Here I have to be very blunt, okay, because it's just black and white here. There is no gray area. All the motivations that you have, the justifications, I don't care, nobody cares, but especially you don't care. So the thing is, I have a small child, but I have to pay my bills, but I have this, but I have that, but at work is crazy right now. We don't give a fuck. You don't give a fuck. The thing is, if you say that you want to do something and you don't do it, that's painful. This is a fact, okay? Not judgment, but it's how it is. So what you can do, when I live that on my skin, my former spiritual teacher, she at some point she came to me and she told me, for a person who goes on and on talking about being a writer, you don't write so much. And now, fuck, I was so pissed off. So I was like, what the fuck? And then I was starting making justifications like, yeah, but I wrote some books in the past. But the fact was I was not writing. So, very easy. You want to be a writer, you write. You want to be an actress, you try to be an actress. You try to go on a stage. You want to be whatever, you put your energy in that direction. You don't have to do it all day, but you need to do it. So, what can you do? You can write down what's your dream, what do you want to do? To write. Okay. Then, how many hours per day or per week you can write? You are writing. 0. Okay. Now write down how many hours you are wasting on Instagram, on stupid Netflix movies. I have nothing against them, no, but it's if you're using that time and you're not writing, then maybe it's a waste. In going to dinners that you don't want to go to, in doing some things that you don't want to do. So if you just write 2 hours per week, you write a book in 1 year and a half. Wow, it's your dream, no? If you give some space and some time and some energy to what you want to do, it's better than nothing. So, super important, don't, I want to, but I don't act. That's the worst one. Okay. Then I have another one that is pretty funny. So, there is this almost mythological character that I write about in my book. It is the Giovanni. Okay, the Giovanni is that person that always arrives full of ideas. I have an idea for an app. I have an idea for a restaurant, for a book, for a film, for 500 ideas per day. Okay, and you feel like overwhelmed, you feel like shit, like, oh my god, I don't have an idea, and he has 500. Okay. There are a lot of Giovannis around. Sometimes we are Giovannis, okay? So again, no judgment. Thing is, first of all, having so many ideas doesn't make you creative. It's a block. If usually the Giovanni has a lot of ideas, but he cannot make them real, no? So that's a block, having a lot of ideas but being unable to choose one and to make it real. It's a big block, a very nasty one. Creativity means that you feel an idea, you open up to intuition, and then you bring it down, okay, and you work on that. So when it happens, that usually means that you have a problem with your masculine side. Now, I'm talking about feminine and masculine that we all have inside, nothing about gender. It's just 2 parts of us. We come from a man and a woman, usually, biologically. So we have those parts inside. If you're not comfortable talking about them, you can feel about 2 sides, like yin and yang, one that is more rational and irrational, more free or more disciplined. Okay, so if you are too free, and then you need some part of you that is like, no, now you are working on something. Okay, you need to balance, to stay aligned in yourself. If you're not, then you're like a Giovanni that is always blabbling new ideas and never doing anything real. So I hope you resonated with some of these blocks and that they're going to help you. Do the exercises. If you resonate, nothing wrong about it. We all resonate with some blocks. It's important to realize them so that you can properly overcome them. So, ciao.